The ancient Roman marketplace churns with chaos as dusk bleeds into the sky. Torches snap in the wind, their flames bending and spitting sparks that vanish against the cold rain. Stone pillars carved with old wolf sigils rise like silent guards around the Colosseum-style square, each one slick with water, each one glowing faintly from the firelight. The drums shake the ground, slow, heavy, ritualistic, each beat thundering through the soaked stones beneath her bare, bleeding feet. She runs. Her breath tears through her chest in short, panicked bursts. The shackles around her wrists clink violently with every desperate step, biting deeper into her skin. Rain mixes with her blood, drawing thin red trails she wishes she could hide. Her heart slams so hard it makes her vision tremble. The world is a blur of shadows, shouts, and the sharp sting of cold air against her wet skin. Behind her, the crowd roars like a single wild animal. Fugitive. Witch. Beast-blooded. Each word cracks across the marketplace like a whip, fueled by hatred, excitement, and the sick anticipation of a public punishment. The whole square is alive with movement, soldiers pushing through bodies, merchants dragging their wares out of the way, auction masters scrambling in furious red robes as they scream orders over the rising storm. She wasn't supposed to escape. She was supposed to be the final lot of the night. The girl with the cursed bloodline. The feral maid. The creature they planned to parade under torchlight. The drums pound harder, louder, vibrating through her bones. Rain lashes against her face. She sprints between the massive pillars, slipping, catching herself, pushing forward even though her legs tremble from fear and exhaustion. Every time thunder cracks overhead, she flinches, afraid it might drown out the sound of the soldiers closing in. Their armor rattles. Their boots slam against stone. They are faster than she is. They always have been. A spark flickers under her skin. She feels it before she sees it, a pulse of something warm and bright cutting through the freezing air, traveling from her chest to her arms. A faint silver glow rises beneath her skin, lighting her veins like threads of moonlight. Her stomach twists in fear. She doesn't know how to control it. She never has. The last time it appeared, she doesn't let herself remember. Not now. Not when she needs her mind to stay clear. She turns sharply, nearly slipping again, and ducks behind a tall execution column, its base stained from decades of blood and rain. She presses her back to the freezing stone, hand clamped over her mouth to silence her breathing. Her breath fogs the air in front of her. She tries to quiet it. Tries not to shake. Tries not to let herself fall apart. The marketplace bell tolls, a deep, resonant clang that rolls across the entire square. The sound vibrates through her ribs. It means the hunt has officially begun. Every guard, every hired hunter, every opportunist hungry for Roman favor will now join the chase. She closes her eyes for a heartbeat. Just one. Just long enough to gather what little strength she has left. Auction masters sweep through the chaos, their red robes dragging across the slick stone. Their voices cut through the storm, filled with rage. She hears them yelling orders, cursing the guards, spitting about the fortune slipping through their fingers. One of them shouts, "Find the girl. She carries the cursed glow, she cannot be allowed to vanish." Her throat tightens. Her fingers tremble. The glow under her skin pulses a little brighter, and she fights the panic swelling in her chest. She whispers to herself, barely a voice, barely a sound, just a plea for something, anything, that might save her. She doesn't know who she's begging. She doesn't think anyone is listening. She just needs hope. A moment. A chance. And in that small, fragile moment of desperation, the chaos around her feels louder, heavy enough to crush her. The crowd, the soldiers, the rain, the drums, it all presses in from every side. If someone out there can feel this panic. If someone can hear that silent, shaky breath. If someone cares about stories where danger and destiny collide. Subscribe to Sophie's Romance Collections, because this is only the beginning. The silence hits like a physical force. One breath ago the marketplace was a pit of noise, shouting, bidding, metal striking metal, and now every voice collapses into nothing. No wind. No footsteps. No movement. Just a stillness so absolute it raises the hair on her arms. Something stands behind her. Not close enough to touch her, but close enough that her instincts jolt awake, the buried part of her blood humming in warning and recognition. She forces herself to turn, slowly, because any sudden motion might shatter whatever fragile barrier is holding the guards back. A tall figure steps out of the shadows. Broad shoulders. Blackened iron armor etched with snarling wolves. A blood-red cloak dragging against the stone like a silent threat. Each piece of him looks carved for war, ancient, deadly, untouched by time. And when he lifts his head, the faint golden glow in his eyes cuts through the dim light like a blade. An alpha. Not just an alpha, the kind born to command entire continents. The guards drop to their knees without hesitation. The marketplace master stumbles forward, bowing so deeply his forehead nearly breaks on the stone. But the alpha isn't looking at them. He's looking at her. Not with curiosity. Not with surprise. But with a conflicted intensity that unsettles something deep in her bones. As if he has seen her before. As if he has searched for her across oceans and nations. As if he knows a truth she has spent her whole life running from. Her breath sticks when he speaks her name, her true name, the one she has never given to anyone in this land. It freezes her more thoroughly than chains ever could. A spear whistles toward her side. The alpha moves faster than thought. He catches the wooden shaft mid-air, metal blade inches from her ribs. A twist of his hand, effortless and brutal, snaps the spear in two. The broken pieces scatter across the stone like discarded matchsticks. The crowd gasps in unison. His voice drops, low and dangerous, a warning wrapped in something far more intimate. Run again, and I'll drag you back myself. The words coil around her spine, awakening instincts she doesn't understand. Her heart clenches, not just in fear, but in a primal pull she's never felt before. His scent reaches her, sharp and warm, carrying something ancient that stirs the silver fire sleeping under her skin. She shouldn't feel drawn to him. She shouldn't feel anything for any alpha. They were the ones who cast her out, called her cursed, stripped everything from her life. They were the ones who turned her into a commodity to be sold, a spectacle for Roman arenas. Yet here, under his gaze, her pulse betrays her. The marketplace master's voice shakes as he speaks, addressing the towering figure with reverence bordering on fear. Your Majesty, the Northern Empire does not interfere with Southern auctions. Unless you wish to claim the possession for yourself? The alpha doesn't break eye contact with her. Claim. Possession. The crowd murmurs, sensing something unusual, something they've never witnessed. Shifter kings do not involve themselves in common auctions. And they certainly do not intervene for mountain-blooded exiles. But his presence tells another story, one hidden beneath armor and authority. He steps closer. Not touching her. Not grabbing her. Simply closing the distance, as if testing whether she will shrink or stand her ground. Her pulse hammers, but her feet root themselves, defying instinct, defying fear, defying everything she has believed about herself. The alpha's voice is quieter now, nearly swallowed by the hush around them, but she feels every word against her skin. She is not a possession. A beat. She is mine. The market explodes into whispers, chaotic and terrified. Guards exchange glances, torn between obeying their master and not daring to counter a ruling alpha. The air thickens with tension, heat, and something dangerous rising between them. Her mind spirals. Why does he know her name? Why does he claim her? Why does her blood, her cursed, silver-tainted blood, respond as if it recognizes him too? The moment he says mine, the air itself seems to bend around them. Not with magic she can see, but with the kind she feels, pressure curling around her ribs, heat unfurling in her chest, a vibration low and ancient rising from someplace beyond reason. The marketplace fades into a blur of stone and color as the Alpha King steps closer, the gold in his eyes sharpening as if the world has narrowed to the shape of her trembling breath. Before she can react, he moves, not seizing her, not pulling, but guiding, his armored arm lifting in a silent command that even the guards obey. The crowd splits open like a wound. No one speaks. No one dares breathe. The hush follows them as he leads her through the chaos she's known for years, past merchants who once tugged her by the hair, past the iron pens that reek of blood and fear, past everything that defined her captivity. She tells herself to resist, to run, to claw against whatever destiny he thinks he sees in her, but her feet move with his. Her pulse matches his stride. Her blood warms at his proximity, as if recognizing a pattern she has never learned. The northern quarter of the ancient city rises before them, its towering pillars carved with wolves and moons and constellations she's never seen. Wolf banners hang from every archway, inked in shades of midnight and flame. Braziers flicker with bluish fire, burning a scent that tilts her memories toward mountains she has tried to forget. He leads her to a concealed arch draped in heavy crimson cloth. 2 guards bow and pull it aside. A cavern yawns beneath the city. Its entrance is narrow, but the moment they step inside, it expands into a sacred hollow of stone and light, runes carved across the walls in spiraling patterns that thrum with low energy. Totems of wolves with silver eyes flank the path. Silver bowls filled with phoenix ash glow like molten stars, casting pale fire across the cavern. Heat blooms in her chest, subtle at first, then stronger, like a slow ignition. She presses a palm to her sternum, breath unsteady. The Alpha watches her with an unreadable expression, as if witnessing something long prophesied. He walks deeper into the cavern, stopping before an ancient stone slab. He traces a fingertip over the inscription carved into it, letters she doesn't recognize, but somehow understands. The child of the silver flame will unchain worlds or burn them. Her breath stutters. Her hands shake. She wraps her arms around herself, but the heat inside her only intensifies, rising like the memory of fire licking through wood, through bone, through everything she tried to bury. He turns to her, voice low, threaded with something almost reverent. "I've searched for you for 10 years. The words hit her harder than the prophecy. 10 years. Long before she was dragged from her home. Long before Roman chains. Long before she became a tool to be bartered. He couldn't have known her then. No one could. You're mistaken, she forces out, trying to keep the tremor from her voice. I'm not the one with the mark. But her hands betray her, the faintest shimmer of silver blooming beneath her skin like trapped lightning. She hides them behind her back, but the glow pulses through her fingers, impossible to conceal. The Alpha steps closer. The cavern seems to tighten around them, stone and shadow watching. He reaches for her wrist. She jerks away instinctively, but his hand finds her with a gentleness she doesn't expect, no force, no dominance, only certainty. The moment his skin meets hers, the glow flares, rising like a living flame that leaps between them. Heat rushes through her arm, up her shoulder, across her chest, striking her heart in a single, stunning beat. Their energies collide. Not violently, but with recognition. Her knees weaken. She doesn't fall. His hand steadies her, fingers firm around her pulse. You feel it, he murmurs, not a question, not a claim. A truth. Your blood knows. Her breath comes uneven. The cavern's runes burn brighter, reacting to something inside her she cannot name. Memories surge too fast to stop. A child hidden in a mountain hut, silver light flickering from her palms like sparks. An elder's horrified stare. A whispered curse, abomination born under a bleeding moon. The lodge on fire, flames not red but pale and silver. Faces turning away from her. Her exile. Roman chains. Years of silence and fear. She gasps and stumbles back. The glow dims, flickers, threatens to vanish. She clutches her chest, nails digging into the fabric. I don't want this, she says through shaking breath. Whatever this is, take it back. His gaze sharpens. You cannot reject what you are. Watch me. The runes on the walls tremble with the heat inside her, reacting to her denial. The cavern responds to her emotions as if it has been waiting for her return. Before he can answer, the ground vibrates, footsteps rushing toward them. The alpha's body tenses, the gold in his eyes hardening from conflicted warmth to lethal readiness. His loyalists burst into the cavern in a storm of steel and fury. Their armor gleams with the same wolf insignias that line the walls, but their faces are twisted in outrage. The first of them points a shaking blade in her direction. She is Roman-forged poison, he spits. A weapon shaped to destroy our king. Look at her hands, look at the glow. It is the cursed flame. Another steps forward, fists clenched. My king, she cannot remain. The council will never allow it. The arenas breed monsters, not saviors. A third snarls, eyes amber with threat. If you take her, you doom us all. The rival alpha enters last. Taller than the rest. Broader. Eyes like storm-dark iron. The cavern itself seems to recoil from him. His voice cuts like stone dragged across steel. You claim a woman marked for death. And you break ancient law to do it. The tension spikes so sharply it burns. The king steps in front of her, blocking the rival's approach with a silent warning. Power coils beneath his skin, a golden shimmer rippling along his shoulders, the precursor to a shift held barely in check. She is under my protection, he says with a calm that vibrates with restrained violence. Then you are unfit to protect a throne, the rival growls and lunges. Claws burst from his hands mid-stride, slicing open the air. The king meets him halfway, armor clashing, claws scraping sparks across stone. The cavern erupts in chaos, loyalists rushing forward, others holding back, the air thick with dust and raw power. Stone cracks under the force of their blows. Runes flare, flashing warning light across the walls. The energy inside her responds instinctively, rising, surging, desperate to break free. Her palms burn with silver fire she cannot release, cannot control. She backs against the wall, breath ragged. The rival alpha slams the king into a pillar. Stone crumbles. The silver ash in the bowls flares up, swirling violently. You endanger us all, he snarls. Your desire blinds you. It is not desire, the king growls back, pushing to his feet. It is fate. The rival's eyes flick to her, and the runes react violently, rejecting her presence, pulsing with hostile energy. The ground splits near her feet, sending her stumbling sideways. She brings ruin, someone shouts. She must be removed. The prophecy warns of fire. She will burn our world. The walls themselves seem to echo their fear. The king tries to reach her. Stay where you are. Don't let the cavern provoke you. But the runes spike again, and pain flashes through her chest, a tearing heat that feels too familiar. Silver light bursts along her arms, forcing a gasp from her. The loyalists recoil. The rival alpha sees it as proof. She is the herald of destruction, he declares. If you refuse to stop her, then the council will. The choice is made without her voice. Guards close in. Claws unsheathe. Magic wounds the air. She has no power to fight them, not without revealing what she truly is. Not without burning the cavern to ash. Not without becoming the monster they already believe her to be. The king's voice cuts through the rising panic, a final command drowned in fury. Touch her, and you will answer to me. But even he cannot defy the ancient order. The council's decree lands like a blade. She must leave this city. Before sunset. Or be executed. Her heartbeat stumbles. Not from fear, she has lived with fear, but from the hollow ache that comes when hope appears and is ripped away in the same breath. She leaves. Not because she wants to. Because staying means the king will be forced to spill the blood of his own people. Because the cavern he brought her to now pulses with rejection. Because the prophecy carved into the stone slab warned of worlds unchained, or burned. Her steps are slow, uneven, but she doesn't fall. She descends into the lower ruins, shattered columns, forgotten temples, shadowed tunnels where moonlight never reaches. Before disappearing into the darkness, she glances back. He stands at the cavern entrance, jaw clenched, fists trembling, golden eyes burning with everything he cannot act on without igniting war. He watches her go. And she feels something inside her crack open. Not prophecy. Not destiny. Something far more dangerous. Something that feels like the beginning of a bond the world is already trying to tear apart. Night settles over the lower ruins like a shroud, cold, breathless, thick with the kind of silence that presses against the ribs. She moves through it in slow, uneven steps, every part of her aching as if something inside her tore when she left the cavern. Broken arches rise around her, their shadows bending with the flicker of distant torchlight. The world above is loud, shouts, orders, guards rushing to enforce the council's decree, but down here, beneath the city's bones, only her heartbeat echoes. She doesn't know how long she walks. Minutes blur into hours. Time loses meaning. All she knows is the sharp sting of rejection still trapped beneath her skin, fighting the faint warmth that lingers from his touch. When she finally collapses onto the cold stone of an abandoned bathhouse, moonlight filters through the shattered ceiling. Beams of pale silver fall across the cracked pools, illuminating steam that rises from the last remnants of ancient heated springs. The air is warm where the moonlight touches it, cold everywhere else. She curls her knees to her chest, trying to steady her breathing. The silence presses closer. She tries to bury the memory of his voice, "Don't let the cavern provoke you," but it clings, refusing to fade. She closes her eyes. But the faint scrape of footsteps snaps them open. Her first instinct is to flee. Her second is to ignite. Her third, against every survival instinct she ever learned, is to stay still. Because the footsteps are familiar. Heavy. Controlled. Weighted with something that feels like regret. The Alpha King steps into the broken moonlight. His armor catches the silver glow, throwing broken reflections across the ruins. His cloak is dusted with ash from the cavern, his hair damp with sweat or rain, and his expression carved with a tension that seems to hollow him out from the inside. She rises too quickly, the room spinning for a moment. "If you're here to drag me back." "I'm not," he says quietly. That stills her. He doesn't advance. Doesn't reach for her. He stands with the stone between them, as if crossing it without permission would be another violation of the ancient law he already broke. Moonlight cuts across his face, revealing exhaustion beneath the steel. The kind born not from battle, but from fear. And she realizes he's afraid she'll run from him again. He finally steps closer, stopping only when steam curls between them. "I came to explain." She forces herself not to look away. "Explain what?" "That your people want me dead? That I'm prophecy, not a person? Or that protecting me might cost you a kingdom?" His jaw tightens. "All of it." She turns her back to him, gripping the edge of the cracked pool. Steam brushes her skin, dampening her lashes. "I don't need your guilt." "It's not guilt." "Then what is it?" He hesitates, and the hesitation itself feels like a confession. "Fear." She turns sharply. His eyes are lowered, not in defeat, but in honesty. The kind he doesn't give freely. "I once loved someone," he says, voice low. "Years ago. She sold my secrets to the Romans for power. They nearly ended my line because of her. I swore I would never let emotion blind me again." Pain flickers beneath his words. Not melodramatic, real. Deep. Scar tissue woven through each syllable. She softens despite herself, sinking onto the stone step of the pool. Betrayal like that doesn't fade. "No," he agrees quietly, lowering himself to sit beside her. "It doesn't." There's a stretch of silence where neither looks directly at the other. The pool's gentle steam rises between them like tentative breath. She inhales shakily. I don't trust myself either. That draws his attention fully. What do you mean? She hesitates, fingers curling around her knees. My flame, it doesn't listen. It reacts to fear, anger, instinct. I burned people before I knew what fire was. I could hurt you. I could kill you without meaning to. Her voice catches, and she hates that he hears it. Instead of fear, something else crosses his face, something searching, something soft. He shifts slightly, closing the space between them until their knees brush. The contact is delicate, intentional, grounding. Her breath falters. He lifts a hand slowly, giving her every second to pull away. When she doesn't, his fingers graze her shoulder, warm, steady, calloused. Her flame responds. Not violently. Not like the cavern. The heat rises gently beneath her skin, almost tender, warming her chest instead of threatening to split it open. It spreads through her shoulder where he touches her, not in a burst but in a slow bloom. She exhales shakily. Why isn't it hurting you? Because you're not afraid of me right now, he murmurs. Maybe I should be. That's not what your blood thinks. Her heart clenches. She should pull away. She knows she should. But his presence quiets the storm inside her, steadies the heat instead of provoking it. And for the first time in years, she isn't terrified of herself. Their foreheads nearly touch, breaths mingling. His hand trails from her shoulder down her arm, slow enough for her to stop him, but she doesn't. Her flame softens further. A deep, instinctive recognition pulses between them. An unspoken truth. A bond forming in real time, delicate and dangerous. They lean in, drawn by something older than prophecy, older than kingdoms. Their lips hover inches apart. He stops first, not out of reluctance, but restraint so sharp it hurts. His thumb brushes her cheek in a trembling sweep. I see you, he whispers, voice breaking on the edges. All of you. And I'm not afraid. The words unravel her. But right when she would close the distance, right when she would let herself fall into him, she pulls back. Not in rejection. In terror. Because wanting him is more dangerous than fire. And he feels the shift immediately. His hand falls to his knee. His gaze drops. Not angry, hurt, but understanding. Another silence forms. This one heavier, trembling at the edges. He opens his mouth to speak. But the world above them explodes. A roar of voices cascades through the ruins. Torches flare. Thunderous footsteps approach. She rises instantly, pulse roaring in her ears. The Alpha King stands, body snapping into defensive readiness. Shouts rain down from the marketplace. She is the silver flame. The destroyer foretold. Capture her. Bring her to the forum. Before she burns the city. Her stomach twists. This isn't coincidence. This is accusation. Exposure. Someone revealed her. She steps back instinctively, and steam ripples off her skin with the surge of panic. Silver sparks crawl up her arms, too fast to contain. He notices, moves toward her, but a wave of Roman soldiers floods into view, surrounding the ruins from every entrance. The clatter of armor, the glint of steel, every sound tightens her chest. Behind the soldiers, shifter council members gather. Their faces are grim. Accusatory. Ready to condemn. A priest steps forward, voice echoing like a death sentence. If she shifts, cities will burn. If she loves, kings will fall. The accusation slices through her. Love. Kings. Burning. She staggers backward, breath shattering. The Alpha King reaches for her, but he freezes midway, torn between pulling her close and facing the council. His hesitation hits her harder than any prophecy. It isn't long. Barely a second. A fraction of doubt. But it breaks her. Her flame flares violently, silver erupting in a burst she can't control. Cracks tear through the stone beneath her feet, splitting columns, launching soldiers backward. Torches scatter. Screams echo through the marketplace. The world blurs in firelight. She runs. Not because she wants to. Because staying means becoming the monster they see. Because his hesitation revealed a truth she wasn't ready to face. In a world that fears her, even the one man who sees her might still choose his kingdom over her. And so she unleashes a final burst of silver fire that splits the ruins behind her, sending shockwaves through the city. The marketplace erupts into chaos. And she disappears into the burning night, heartbreaking with every step. The shadow beast falters. Its darkness quivers as if uncertain of its own shape, the centuries of sealed malice wavering under the radiance now fully claimed by her. Silver wings flare wider, arcing upward like molten light carved into the night. Every feather of flame pulses with intent, every spark singing with her defiance. It lunges again, faster, more violent, but the world itself seems to bend against it. The stones of the execution ground split before the assault, glowing veins of silver tracing along their cracks as if recognizing her command. She steps forward, knees steady, chest rising and falling in deliberate rhythm. She feels the weight of prophecy pressing down, the centuries of whispers calling her destiny into focus, but beneath it all lies a choice she makes herself. She is not the tool of kings or priests. She is not the weapon the Romans imagined, nor the threat the Shifter Council proclaimed. She is fire. She is power. She is herself. The shadow beast roars, a sound that shakes the air and rattles the foundations of the terraces. Its claws tear stone, but every swipe ignites silver sparks that leap from her wings to meet them, a net of energy that flares and snaps. She shifts, her wolf form, divine and ancient, rippling from the silver fire, limbs elongating, muscle and fur gleaming with radiance. Eyes like molten gold burn with instinct, feral yet controlled. The ground quakes beneath her as the beast falters, uncertainty striking its core. From the shadows, the rival alpha steps forward, claws glinting, body taut. He lunges, testing her resolve, but she does not strike first. Instead, she moves with grace, a predator in her own right, flowing between attacks, letting the silver flame wrap around her, protecting her, empowering her. Every movement is poetry, every breath a command of the elements themselves. He snarls, fury coiling around him, but cannot touch her. The Alpha King stands behind her, hand pressed to the small of her back, a tether, a promise. He does not restrain, does not command. He aligns. Their combined aura pulses outward, light bending, darkness receding. The rival falters, chest heaving, recognizing for the first time that brute strength alone cannot conquer her. The shadow beast cries, a sound not of anger but of recognition, of submission forced by power it cannot resist. Her silver wings beat in the cold rain, sending gusts that push the creature back. With a final surge, she releases energy upward, a radiant arc of fire and light that cracks the air, illuminating the execution grounds in blinding brilliance. Stones shatter, runes ignite fully, torches flare, and the heavens themselves seem to tremble. She stands, chest heaving, wings folding gracefully behind her. Every inch of her radiates strength, every step echoes her reclamation. The Alpha King moves to her side, golden eyes locking onto hers, the storm of tension and desire between them finally settling into a quiet certainty. He does not speak. He does not need to. The world has acknowledged her power, he has acknowledged her as his equal, as his bond, as the one he will stand beside. The rival Alpha collapses to one knee, understanding the futility. Priests avert their eyes, muttering broken prayers. Soldiers stumble, awestruck and unprepared for a force beyond mortal understanding. Even the shadow beast, ancient and terrible, retreats into the ruins from whence it came, darkness curling back into confinement, recognizing that this new force, this silver flame, is beyond their dominion. She lowers her wings slowly, feeling the warmth of her own power still pulsing through her, and the Alpha King slides closer, hands brushing, shoulders aligning, presence grounding her without containment. Together, they are unstoppable, a union of fire and authority, defiance and protection. Every fear, every betrayal, every exile has led to this moment, the full realization that she is no sacrifice, no tool, no curse. She is power claimed. The night calms around them, the storm softened, the execution grounds hushed under the weight of their presence. Rain trickles down, sizzling as it meets the silver fire lingering in the stones. Her chest rises and falls, breath steadying, heartbeat slowing but still echoing with the intensity of the claim she has made. And then, even as the world begins to settle, a question hangs in the air, not spoken but felt: would you have feared her, or followed her? Is she salvation, or calamity? Every witness, every onlooker, even the remnants of the shadow beast seem to lean toward that question, the universe itself pausing to consider her choice, and theirs. A subtle wind curls through the ruins, carrying the scent of rain, fire, and silver ash. And through it all, her wings shimmer faintly, a reminder that power does not fade, that destiny cannot be denied, and that the fire she carries will forever illuminate the world around her. If her fire stirred something inside you, if her defiance, her pain, and her claim to power touched the part of you that believes in something greater, subscribe to Sophie's Romance Collections. Because here, every story burns. The ground still hums with energy, the air vibrates with potential, and the night waits, watching, for the next step in a story that has only begun to blaze. Beneath the ruined arches of the ancient execution grounds, the air still shivered with silver fire, the scent of rain and ash heavy in every breath. The remnants of shattered stone glimmered faintly, veins of light winding through the cracks like veins of magic still pulsing in the bones of the city. She moved slowly, deliberately, each step measured, yet still radiating the kind of power that could shake empires. Behind her, the Alpha King's presence pressed softly against her senses, not clinging, not demanding, but steady, solid, unyielding. His golden eyes scanned the ruins, catching every shimmer of residual light, every echo of ancient threat, yet they always returned to her. The night stretched around them, thick and watchful. Rain fell in gentle sheets now, no longer hammering against stone but whispering against it, carrying distant echoes of the chaos that had erupted minutes before. The battlefield of fire and shadow had grown silent, but not empty. Shadows lingered in the corners, shivering with caution. The city beneath them seemed to hold its breath, waiting for what would come next. Every step she took left a faint glow, silver sparks that trailed her movements like the tail of a comet, marking the path she had claimed with her own defiance. She glanced once at him, the Alpha King. His expression was unreadable, calm yet tense, like a predator watching for storms to break. She could feel his energy even without looking, the subtle pull of his control, his discipline, the discipline of one who had ruled kingdoms and tamed beasts but now stood beside a power he could not contain. There was relief there, quiet and profound, but beneath it, tension, the kind born of knowing that the world could turn on them in an instant, that allies and enemies alike measured them in seconds, waiting to see who would falter. They walked through the arches of shattered columns, their boots tracing patterns on cracked stone, silver light reflecting off the rain-slicked surfaces. Every sound, water dripping, stone shifting, wind curling through broken archways, was magnified in the quiet aftermath. She felt the weight of every life that had come before, every auctioned criminal, every betrayed shifter, every heart broken in the name of power. And yet beneath it, she felt the echo of her own defiance, the warmth of the power she had claimed, and the unspoken bond that tethered her to him. Is it truly over? The question lingered in the air, unspoken yet heavy. Not hers. Not his. The city itself seemed to ask it, through the creak of broken stone and the sigh of wind over ruined marble. She shivered, the silver flame flickering faintly beneath her skin as if in response, not to her fear, but to something ancient stirring beneath the surface. The Alpha King's hand brushed hers almost accidentally as they moved together through the ruins. It was a small gesture, subtle, but it sent a shiver down her spine, anchoring her, grounding her, reminding her that even in a world that had condemned her, even when prophecy and fear sought to define her, she had choice, and she had someone beside her who would not falter. Then the ground trembled. Not a quake, not yet, but the subtle vibration that travels through bone, through stone, through the very air, a warning, a herald, a pulse of something alive beneath the city's foundations. Silver sparks from her wings danced against the wet stone as she paused, knees bending slightly, senses stretching outward, hunting for the source. He paused too, muscles coiling, golden eyes narrowing, scanning every shadow, every fissure in the stone floor. And then it came. A whisper from beneath. Not carried on wind, not spoken by tongue, but rising from the stones themselves, vibrating in the marrow of their bones. She is not the only one. The words echoed with inevitability, curling around the ruins, embedding themselves into the rain-soaked air. Her chest tightened, every instinct firing. She felt the pull of unseen power, the presence of something, or someone, lurking beneath, ancient, patient, waiting. Silver sparks danced along her skin, responding to the call, rising up her spine, igniting the wings of flame that had become her second skin. The true alpha has yet to rise. Another whisper, low, omnipresent, almost seductive in its promise. A statement of destiny, yes, but also a warning. She stiffened, heart racing, flame coiling beneath her skin as if recognizing the truth behind the words. He stepped closer, his presence a solid weight against her, his energy brushing against hers, steadying, grounding. Whatever it is, he murmured, voice low, we face it together. She didn't reply immediately. Her eyes scanned the cracked columns, the flickering torches, the rain-blurred terraces. Every shadow seemed to stretch, pulse, shift. She could feel power breathing beneath the city, ancient and terrible, waiting to test her again. Her chest rose and fell, silver wings flaring faintly, wings of light and defiance that no shadow could claim. You've changed, he said finally, voice carrying the weight of recognition, admiration, and something deeper, more fragile. You're not the frightened girl they tried to sell. Not the weapon. His voice faltered for a heartbeat, caught in awe. You're more than they imagined. More than anyone imagined. She let herself inhale, letting the rain soak her hair, letting the night fill her lungs, letting the realization settle. She had fought. She had claimed her power. She had survived betrayal, fear, prophecy, and expectation. And yet the whisper beneath the stone reminded her that survival was only the beginning. That the story was far from finished. That the world, in all its kingdoms and shadows, still had more to test her, to challenge her, to see if she was truly worthy of what she had become. The Alpha King's hand found hers fully now, gripping not to control but to affirm, to acknowledge the bond forged in fire and shadow. Together, they stepped forward through the ruins, silver wings trailing sparks that danced across broken stone, reflecting rain in molten shards of light. A fissure cracked somewhere beneath them. A low growl rumbled through the foundations. She flinched, then straightened, feeling the pulse of power in the earth itself, as if the city recognized her defiance and called back its guardians, or challengers. The night isn't done with us, he said, voice low, careful, yet firm. It's testing us. It always tests the ones who rise. She nodded, chest rising and falling, flame coiling tighter, wings flexing slightly in anticipation. Her eyes glowed faintly gold now, silver mingling with something deeper, ancient. Her heartbeat aligned with the pulse of the city, the whisper beneath the stones, the energy of everything that had come before. Then the whisper came again, more distinct this time, weaving around the ruins, curling into the rain-soaked stone. She is not the only one. The true Alpha has yet to rise. Her spine tingled, the silver wings flaring higher, brighter. She felt the challenge, the promise, the inevitability of what was to come. Not a threat. Not entirely. But a summons. The world beneath the city had awakened. The story had not ended. It had merely shifted, turned, grown more dangerous, more alive, more demanding. The Alpha King tightened his grip on her hand, energy radiating from him in quiet strength, tethering her to the moment, to the now, to the certainty that whatever waited in the depths, she would not face it alone. She inhaled deeply, letting the rain wash over her, letting the silver fire pulse through her veins, letting the whispers settle around her mind. The night trembled. The city waited. The stones beneath their feet hummed with the power that had been unleashed. And the power that was yet to come. And somewhere in the darkness, beneath broken stone and whispered prophecy, the world shifted again, acknowledging that this story, their story, was only beginning. She lifted her chin, wings stretching faintly, radiance curling through the ruins like liquid light. He mirrored her, golden eyes steady, unwavering. Together, they moved forward. Not in fear, not in doubt, but with the undeniable certainty of two forces entwined, ready to face whatever whispered from the depths, ready to rise again, stronger, brighter, unyielding. The ruins whispered around them. The city pulsed with latent energy. And the rain, silvered with reflected flame, carried the promise of battles yet to come, destinies yet to be forged, and a truth that no prophecy could deny: this wasn't over. Not for her. Not for him. Not for the world waiting beneath the stones.